Rose immediately makes it about her again, being like, well, will you let me, like, wear that fur that you're wearing? And Louise is like, sure, like, whatever you want. I just want you to be happy spending time with me. And they laugh and they walk off together, and it is a horrible ending. This woman is delusional.
So true.
I am so angry with the end of this, and I just...
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
Oh, boy. This is a movie.
Talk about, so in direct contrast, this is the other side of the coin of Sound of Music, where we desperately wanted to talk about that movie, but it took us 3 tries to do it.
But the universe took us so many times.
We desperately don't want to talk about this movie, and it took us 3 times to do it.
Well, some of that was like legitimate technical issues or like moment, like crisis in the moment. Other times, straight up did not want to talk about this movie.
Wanna. All right.
I've
never seen this movie before.
And this is like, have you ever seen a stage production?
No. I've listened to the soundtrack.
No.
But the soundtrack really doesn't give you the whole plot.
I think this movie does this show a big disservice.
Okay.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to 5, 6, 7, 8, a movie musical podcast where we review and recap movie musicals. We are your chaotic co-host. I'm Anna.
I'm Grace.
That felt like such an NPR intro. But anyway, this is the 1962 film Gypsy. And it's a hot take, but I think this film does the stage show a big disservice.
Okay, say more.
I've never seen a stage production of this. However, I lived in New York in the Audra McDonald Gypsy era.
Oh, yeah.
Never could afford to see it. One of my deepest regrets. But I think the thing is, like, you know what really ground my gears?
Sure.
Grinds my gears? What pissed me off?
Yeah.
Is the narration portion of this
Yeah, I didn't
film.
like that either.
So I think what it really, when I say it did a really disservice, it did the stage show a disservice. Rose is a flawed character.
Yeah.
She is a inherently flawed character. And the narration felt like it was trying to erase that. It was like, oh, but we can hear her inner monologue, and we didn't hear any of her justification. It was just her, like, trying to gaslight us into her behavior being okay.
Yes.
And like, well, we had to do it because of X, Y, and Z, and we were on the road again. I'm like, this does not redeem you.
No.
It felt like it was trying to redeem her, and that is a disservice to this whole show. She's not a redeemable character.
Well, and what I would love to know is if in the stage show there's any character growth. Because it feels like Rose never grows. There's no change in her behavior.
I think it's...
Ever.
No. And what's really interesting is I went on a deep dive of how different productions end the show. Yeah. And that really varies. Okay. And I think that has a really big impact on whether she has growth in like truly the final moments based on how Louise chooses to respond to Rose's turn. Yeah. But you're right. This is not character growth. This is a descent into madness. Yes. This is a long day's journey into night.
Journey to Moscow. I feel like she never changed and or never got consequences for her actions. And I feel like either of those, either a change or a single consequence, would be great. Let's talk about this plot.
The conses did not quench. Let's talk about this plot. This movie is 2 hours long.
2.5. Crazy.
2.5. And like the stage show is probably around that long as well, but just this was a movie.
It's a slog.
I fully forgot Stephen Sondheim did the lyrics for this.
Yes, he did.
This is based on a play. Like, not the musical. Like, there was a play.
Yes.
The stage musical, which came out in 1959, was based off of Gypsy Rose Lee's 1957 autobiography. So this is not a true blue original story.
No. I mean, it is based on a true story.
It's based on true. I'm sorry, like it's not an original story from like it's based on an autobiography.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We start. What fucking year does this even take place in?
This is pre-Depression.
It's pre-Depression, tail end of vaudeville.
Yes.
Like the death of vaudeville is very much like the B plot
I feel like,
of this.
Yeah. I feel like this starts like truly at the peak of vaudeville and we only see the downslope.
Yeah. And Rose is the person that's refusing to let vaudeville die. Yeah. Like she's single-handedly trying to keep vaudeville alive. Okay.
So we start at the Lyceum. And
the Lyceum. We started the Lyceum.
And we are seeing some auditions for kids as a secondary part of another act, another vaudeville act, essentially.
Like a vaudeville act.
And we're seeing a bunch of kids in all of these different costumes. It's some sort of talent thing as opposed to like a role because each kid seems to have their own act.
Yeah. It's like they're auditioning for a variety act, like a kids' variety act. Every kid has their own shtick. We
swarmed by stage moms. So many.
Swarmed by stage moms. The producer and the host of the show, Uncle Jocko, kind of like rein it all in, and then arrives Rose with baby June and Louise in tow. And and Rose is a whirlwind, and she never stops being a whirlwind. And my stress levels shot through the roof when she appeared, and they never went down.
So true. I've gotten a lot better at taking notes throughout a movie, and this is the first movie in a while where I've had to pause and like catch up because she just doesn't stop talking.
No, she just doesn't stop talking. She bullies her way through. So it's like, my kid's the star. You can send everyone else home, and she gets June to perform June's number, which is Let Me Entertain You.
Yes.
And I think she's on the stage, like, Rose is on the stage the whole time.
Yes.
Like, stage mothering
Off
to the max.
side. Well, I think, like, we, like, see June start to perform, and then from the back of the house, we hear the classic opening line of Rose, which is Sing Out Louise.
Sing Out Louise.
Because it is June as, like, this beautifully made up, almost like Bo Peep-esque outfit, and then her older sister Louise in a very drab plain brown outfit kind of doing backup dancing for
like a
June.
shepherd's.
And then Rose like takes over everything, but during the beginning of this audition, Louise had overheard the producer say to Jocko that it's already fixed, they've already decided which kid, this is just because they legally have to hold auditions, but they've already chosen which kid. At which point, whenever Rose comes on and, like, starts, like, bullying everyone, Louise, like, pulls her over and, like, whispers in her ear that the auditions are fixed, and she starts having an entire flame out on stage in front of everyone.
Yeah, and the host of the show quits. It's a hot mess.
Yes.
We cut to the girls, and I say girls, I mean Rose, June, and Louise. June's probably, like, 5 and Louise is 7, like they're little.
Something like this. Something with it, like
Louise
is
around
not older than 10. So she's definitely younger than 10, and Louise is June's a couple years younger,
Yeah, the girls are in their beaten up car heading back to Seattle because that's where their Rose's father, the girl's grandfather, lives. Their car breaks down on the side of the road, and Rose sees this as an opportunity for them to make some money. She's like, surely there's a theater in this town. Yeah. We see that she is such a swindler. She is the ultimate swindler.
She's the ultimate swindler. She's given Billy Flynn a run for his
money. Truly. She goes to the theater in town to arrange for her girls to perform, and there she meets a candy bar salesman. Surprise, it's the same guy that was hosting the talent show. Jocko. It's Uncle Jocko. Yeah. He's like, that was a one-time thing. What I mainly do is sell candy bars. My name is Herbie.
Yes.
And he compliments her. He goes, you look like a pioneer woman without a frontier. The dialogue is so fast. Yeah. The dialogue is so fast in this.
Yes.
And he asks her out to dinner. He's like instantly Herbie is instantly charmed by Rose.
Well, and they both kind of like cover for each other with this guy at the movie theater because like Herbie's trying to sell his chocolates and Rose is trying to get her kids on. So Herbie's like, oh no, I saw her kids, they're great. And she's like, my kids only eat his type of candy. And so they're both like on each other's level in terms of like salesmen.
Yeah. And Herbie is taken with Rose because she is a fast-talking woman that knows what she wants, and Herbie is like, you are interesting. And he takes her out to dinner. I couldn't write down any of the dialogue because it was so fast.
Yeah.
But essentially we get the gist that like Rose has huge plans for June, and she will not take anyone's advice on what is like what they recommend for her, like for June and her career. She's like, no, I know, mother knows best.
Very much that. He almost leaves when she insults him after he tries to give like a little bit of advice, but she brings him back around and she sings the song Small World about how similar they are and finding each other.
She doesn't sing it. She Rex Harrison's this song.
She was not the singer. There was another woman who was
the singer.
Who was the vocal talent for this. And I thought that she did a pretty good job in terms of matching the what am I trying to say? I thought that the woman who did the singing voice did a good job at matching the tone and intonation of the actual actress playing Rose. I thought that there wasn't too much of a hard switch between the different voice styles.
I agree. They flirt up a storm.
Yes.
And Herbie reveals he's headed back to Chicago. And she's like, oh, well, we've always wanted to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
Will you put in a good word for us at the Weber Theater? And Herbie's like, sure. And you know what? Your car broke down. I'll even help you get back to Seattle.
Yes.
So we cut to Herbie driving Rose, June, and Louise back to Seattle in his car. And this is when we first get Rose as a narrator.
And
which is essentially like, I've never done anything wrong in my entire life.
Yes, 100%. They do get to Seattle, and Rose's dad comes out to greet them at the car, and he is obviously not on Rose's wavelength in terms of intensity.
He's been swindled by her too many times.
100%. So they get there, Herbie takes off and says goodbye to everyone and all of the girls. While they're at Grandpa's house, Rose gets a telegram from Herbie because at this restaurant before he had talked about how he knows people in show business everywhere, but he knows this guy in Chicago and he could probably get the girls an act there for at least a couple of weeks. And so Rose gets the telegram that he's got them that act in Chicago, but they have to get to Chicago and they're in Seattle.
Yeah, and it costs money to get to Chicago, and they don't have any money. And we get the first I Want song of Gypsy. Rose asks her father for money for them to get to Chicago, and again, he's been swindled by her too many times. He's like, you're not getting a dime out of me. And we get the song Some People, which is not a very melodious song. It's got a lot of talky bits. It's low.
Yes.
But it's some people will sit on their butts their whole lives, but that's not me. And I need $88 to get to Chicago. And the song ends, and he's like, no, you're not getting that from me. And he leaves. And we had previously established that there was like a solid gold plaque, like memorial plaque over the fireplace.
For his 50 years working for the company that was given as a gift at his retirement.
Yeah. And she fully
steals it.
Hawks the plaque.
Yeah.
She fully steals it. And I was like, ma'am, you have no respect for anyone. I looked it up. So this is 1920s approximately. She needs $88. That's approximately $1,400 in today money.
Yikes. That's a...
Yeah. But she hawks that plaque and she gets her girls to Chicago.
We see like an opening stand-up comedian who comes off stage and is kind of a dick to Rose. It's like, oh, like, see your girls top that or something. And it's like, my guy, why?
Do you know who that's supposed to be? Or that you know who that is? That's a whole bit. That's Jack Benny, who was a major stand-up comedian. So it's a bit of a shout out of like, Rose is like, that guy's never gonna go anywhere. It's fully Jack Benny.
They should have done better in making that clear.
No, they did. They panned to his like name on the board. That's how I know. I didn't recognize him. It's an actor playing him. No, it's fine. But she was like, that guy's never gonna get anywhere, and he's a dick to Rose. Yeah. And then it pans over to because it's like the lineup, and it goes Jack Benny, and then Baby June and her newsboys.
Yes. So
like,
there's a new act or like an extended version of this Let Me Entertain You number. Yeah. Which there's now like a bunch of boys that are like around the same age range as Louise. So like like 10 to 13, something like that, dancing as the background, extra, read all about it. But one of the newsboys is Louise dressed up as a boy. So she's in the background.
Yeah. I think we had established previously that Herbie was like, you should expand the act and you should get boys. And Rose is like, no one wants boys. We'll get girls. Herbie got boys
because he was the one who scheduled everything. And we cut through and we see like a bunch of different performances of the same fucking number over and over and over again.
This is an insane... I'm sorry. As someone who has no background in this, I'm like, the pom-poms, the wigs, the high kicks. She is on point. These ensemble children have guns.
What is this?
This is insane.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. We get a montage of June performing this number over and over again. Over the years, we get Rose narrating that Baby June rebranded as Dainty June. They started to headline circuits, and the girls grew up, and Louise never got any better.
Nope. But also Louise was not the focus, and I don't think Louise was like... I think Louise was very happy being secondary in her mother's attention.
Yes, Louise never wanted to get better. Yeah. So from Rose's narration, we get that like the girls started playing bigger shows, but they never reached like stardom. Mm-hmm. And this was also when the circuits were slowing down because vaudeville was dying.
Yes.
And they get close to New York.
They get to New
like
Jersey.
Performing at like big theaters in New York. Yeah, they get to New Jersey. Cut to them all sleeping in the same room. And when I say all, I mean Rose, June, Louise, all of the boys. Oh my God. All of the ensemble boys.
Yes, and it's like in a hotel or like one of the bed and breakfast of the era
it's
kind
like a boarding
of deal.
House. Yeah.
And they wake up and surprise Louise for her birthday. It's her birthday, and they have like a little cake and all these little gifts. And Rose comes in the middle of this with food. There's like a running bit about she only eats chow mein. I'll probably never mention that again. But every time that we talk about them eating food, 100% it's chow mein. Anyway, so she comes in with food, and she tells the kids about this dream that she had for this, like, new expanded act.
For a new act.
With, like, a cow and, like, farm boys instead of newsboys. And it's basically the same. It's, like, fresh. It's like that Landlord Paint special, man. It's, like, you can really see what it was underneath.
Let me entertain you. Yeah.
And...
Speaking of landlords, who should arrive but knock at the door is the landlord of this place, because obviously they have too many people, and not only that, they have aminals. Yeah, there's a monkey in
there's
there.
There's a baby lamb that's essentially a gift for Louise, which is adorable.
For Louise. Yeah, but essentially the landlord's like, I agreed to rent this out to like one person and one adult, and there are 15 people in this. You gotta go. And you're not allowed to cook in here, and there's animals, and there's too many people. Yes. And Rose turns on him. I think she just makes up a story that he assaulted her, and she starts screaming.
Yeah, she
being like,
pulls him into another room and messes up her own clothes while she's screaming, "What are you doing?" And all of that, and then comes out and he runs away because what the fuck. And just then Herbie arrives with another gentleman.
And this is Mr. Gladstone.
Yes, Mr. Gladstone, and tells them that they have an audition. Or Goldstone, not Gladstone.
Goldstone,
because the song that Rose then immediately sings is called Mr. Goldstone, I Love You.
Yeah, it's full pandering. I think it's that he got them an audition at like a bigger theater. Yes. I think, did I write down the name of the theater? No. But it's like the next step up. It's this is a big deal that they got an audition. So we get full pandering to Mr. Goldstone. Have a Goldstone, Mr. Eggroll is one of because she gets confused. This man is so bamboozled by this.
Doesn't have a single line.
From all this chaos, we cut to Louise on the fire escape with her lamb, enjoying her presence and having a quiet moment to herself. And she sings the song Little Lamb. And it ends with her singing, I Wonder How Old I Am, which is such a sad thing to think of because, like, this girl doesn't have a normal childhood. Mm-hmm. It's such a dysfunctional life that she leads, getting towed around behind her mother and her sister, constantly, like, dressing up as a boy, dressing younger than she is. So, like...
And her mom has changed her age so many times to, like, still present this young and dainty sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a couple of the boys have talked about this too, I think at this point, where they're just like, you know, we're getting older and things like that.
Yeah. We're getting older. We can't play kids anymore.
Yes. Cut to a Chinese restaurant. And Rose is misbehaving and like stealing cutlery and
being rude to wait staff
and asking for food to go, which at that point I think was very gauche. Herbie and June are very embarrassed by this behavior. But at one point, Herbie asks, like, when are you going to marry me? And, like, when are you going to realize that, like, your little girls are not little girls anymore? They are very much growing up. And, like, you need to start thinking about, like, what's going to happen after this. And Rose...
Yeah, like, this vaudeville is dying. Yeah. I want you to, like, we should stop. We should be a family. The girls should be in school.
Yeah.
And Rose refuses to give up on this dream. Rose absolutely refuses.
Yeah. And Herbie threatens to leave, and she ends up singing the song, You'll Never Get Away From Me, which is a threat.
Yes, it is a threat. It is a direct threat.
Yeah.
The keys are so low.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, the song ends with Rose promising that she's like, I'll marry you after I get what I want.
Yeah. Which, when has she ever...
it's the next day.
Gonna get that.
Yeah, that's, dear reader, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. Yeah. The next day, June and Louise and all the farm boys have their big audition in New York. Yes. And we get this reskinned number of Let Me Entertain You, which is Dainty June and her farm boys this time. It's just the same number on a farm. And Louise has been relegated to box stepping as a cow.
Oof.
June looks like Bo Peep. There's a new song for June about the cow, and Louise has gotten better as a dancer. So this is in a huge theater with just no one. And someone is up in like
a view box,
the lighting booth, or viewing box. This is Mr. Grant Singer, and he's like the guy that decides what acts get selected. Yes. And there's a funny back and forth bit where his secretary is down on the stage and has like a telephone, and that's how she's communicating with him. Yeah. So the number ends, and Grant Singer calls down to the secretary for June to come out on stage. Like, he's like, I've seen enough. But Rose does things Rose's way. Yes. And she's like, no, we have this big finale that we haven't even gotten to yet. And she fully commandeers the stage, has all the kids come back out and do this big number, and she is so overbearing. It made me so uncomfortable to watch. She's fully on stage
doing the same
choreography with them, and it makes me think of that song from Chicago, what is it?
Was it Velma's song of
where she's like, it's great with two people.
Yeah.
That kind of energy where it's like really trying to sell it to the person watching it.
And you can smell the desperation.
You can smell the desperation. That's a great way to put it. Nothing could have prepared me for this number. It made me...
First of all, set pieces for an audition, crazy to do an untested number. Well, it's not an untested number. It's a very well-tested number with a new coat. It was wild. There was a whole train sequence. There was her going off and then deciding to stay because she's friends with a cow. It was giving Milky White. It was wild.
It's just giving Milky White. It was wild. The number ends. The phone rings on stage again, and we as the audience are like, she blew it. The secretary is like, that was a hot mess. Yeah. And the secretary answers the phone and is this is our waiter. This secretary is our waiter.
Yes.
Of just like so confused,
tired,
and inconvenienced by the concept of musical theater.
Yes.
And is so surprised that Mr. Grant Singer actually liked it. She's like, really? Cut to the office, like the administrative office above the theater later. Herbie is looking over the contract that June has been offered. So first things first, they auditioned for the Uptown Theater Review.
Yes.
Their contract has them booked at the Downtown Theater Review, which, if you're thinking of New York in the 20s, Uptown and Downtown, very different vibes.
Yeah. And the contract is only for 1 week. and it is only if Rose stays away.
And it's only for June,
yes,
right?
I think it's only for June. It's not for the act. It's for June to be
so
put
there's a lot of
into
stipulations. It's or June to just like have her own thing and like possibly be scouted as a result for film it, like the new talkies, like movies are a new thing, or Broadway. And there's stipulation is like Rose needs to not be involved. And the secretary gives Rose advice being like, hey, this is a good offer. This is probably the best offer you're going to get. With both Louise and Herbie, essentially.
Yeah, a real actress.
As a real star. And June wants
desperately.
This. And Louise and Herbie essentially tell Rose to get over yourself. And Rose says no. She doesn't want them to take June away from her. And she tells them to tell Mr. Gransinger that we won't do, like, I won't accept this contract. And leaves, like storms out in an egotistical rant.
The girls just look so tired and so resigned, and Herbie is just like, I'll get her to change her mind. And both of the girls, like, neither of them look hopeful at that. Neither of them have any thought that he will actually be able to accomplish a change of their mother's mind.
That's like, Rose has gone to like fight Mr. Gransinger about this contract. Like she's not like leaving. She's like, no. I'm gonna go convince him that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Louise tries to calm June down, but June says, like, I know vaudeville is over, and this was my only chance, and now I have lost that. I kept thinking in this scene, Natalie Wood looks so much like a young Winona Ryder.
Yes, but 100% I get that.
Herbie reappears. So the girls are sitting by themselves kind of in this secretary's office. And Herbie comes back upstairs to tell them, like, hey, your mother's not feeling well. I'm going to take her back to the hotel. You know why she's not feeling well? She didn't get her way.
Yeah. Awful. And
we get the only duet between the girls, which is If Mama Was Married.
And June has a moment of thanking Louise, which I thought was a very sweet moment of like, thank you for always putting me first and like always making sure that I'm okay. Which like as like a younger sister acknowledging that for her older sister. I mean, I think June must be like 12, 13 at this point, and I want to say Louise is like 15, 16. It was just like a very genuine moment of these two children that are both the brunt of their mother, but in very different ways. And yeah, we get the song If Mama Was Married.
And they imagine what their lives would be if their mother wasn't so overbearing.
Yeah.
And it's got some comedic moments in it where they like are so desperate for their mother to back off.
Yeah.
I also realized Louise still is dressed in cow pants.
Yes.
In this like very serious
She is
moment.
for like the next 3 scenes.
Yeah. And this is, at the end of this scene, we get Rose's narration again, where I'm just like, you are not a reliable narrator. Because what ends up happening is the girl, like, they take their act to a theater downtown.
Right.
Like, they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get the contract with Gransinger, but they got a different contract, because, like, Rose won't let go of this Dainty June and her Farm Boys act.
Yes.
So they take that act down to 12th Street in the 1920s.
And we cut to the back alley of this theater.
Yeah, the back alley.
And we get a little bit more of like who the boys are, because they've been very much background characters at this point. But Herbie and Louise are heading like out into the back alley of this theater, and there's one of the boys practicing in the alleyway, and Herbie's like, that's great, you should show this to Rose, and he's like, under no circumstances. So he goes back, Tulsa calls Herbie back in, someone calls Herbie back in, and Louise comes out and ends up talking with Tulsa about what he's practicing for, because it's nothing that they're doing now. And he reveals that he is rehearsing for his own act, his own performance. And Louise,
his own team,
yeah, and Louise promises that she won't tell anyone. There's like a little innocent flirtation. I don't think it's intentional on his part, but Louise is like obviously
it's
very
one-sided.
taken by him.
Yeah.
And asks him what he's looking for in a partner. And so, kind of similar to the Velma Kelly act, he like kind of walks her through what his act would be, and like talks about who he wants as his second, like who's the partner in his dance, and he sings the song All I Need Is the Girl. And
and he rehearses the number like for and with Louise, and it's, you better dance, boy.
Oh my god, the tapping, let's go.
Yeah, the tapping.
And Louise is obviously,
the singing
like,
felt very
she, like,
forced.
desperately wants to be
She's
a part of this,
enthralled.
like pulling her heart forward.
Yeah. And I wrote the note, didn't feel supported. I don't know if that means the singing didn't feel supported or
this moment,
I don't know what that
in
note
the story,
means. Yeah, but Louise ends the song with like big heart eyes for Tulsa.
Oh, yeah.
The dance ends and they go backstage because it's like time either for rehearsal or for their show.
Yeah.
And we get another narration montage. So now the crew is going down to Dallas because vaudeville houses in New York keep getting shut down.
Because it's right at the beginning of the Depression at this point.
Yeah. And so we're at a train station in Texas, and they're all meeting there for a train. It's kind of like all the kids like went off to get dinner or whatever, like get their own food before they get on this train. And Herbie is pacing on the platform with his watch, like, where are... Like the train's leaving soon. Like they were all supposed to be back here by now.
Right.
Rose is there. All their luggage is there, and some of the dancers come up. Some of the boy dancers, and Louise and June are still missing. And so Herbie's like, "Where are the girls?" And they say like they went to like see a movie or something. But like they'll be here. But the boy dancers tell Herbie like, "Hey, so we're quitting because this is not sustainable anymore." And Rose
also, they're not getting
straight
paid.
up doesn't
I don't
believe
think we
them.
ever said that.
They're not getting paid.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid, which is insane.
Yes.
And Rose is like, I'm giving you room and board. Like that should be enough. And like, I'm paying you in exposure. Like Rose does not understand why they would want to quit on her dream.
People die from exposure.
She doesn't
Rose.
believe them. Yeah. And apparently we also learned that Herbie's been paying the boys
under the table
on the side.
Without telling her.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rose doesn't believe in paying them, but one of the boys is leaving, so they're like, Joe's leaving, Jerry's also gone. Like one by one the boys are like, we've made arrangements and we're gonna like go do.
Can
like,
you
go
just
find...
give us our train tickets and we're gonna exchange them for a different direction, essentially. Just then Louise comes running up with a note from the hotel clerk from the place that they were staying, and it turns out so she gives the note to her mother for her mother to read, and it turns out that June...
And she also says, like, hey, I can't find June, but I was given this note. I didn't read it yet. Mama, will you read it?
Yes. And she reads it out loud, and June has run away with one of the boys, Jerry, to have her own life.
She's eloped.
She doesn't want to play baby anymore. She is 13 years old.
She's 13, and Herbie's like, that is so illegal. He goes up to a policeman, and he's like, this happened, and like my stepdaughter's, or she's run away, she's eloped, like we need to find her. And the policeman's like, well, how old is she? And Herbie goes, she's 13. And he goes, the policeman says, well, there's nothing illegal about that in this state. That is insane.
Crazy.
And Rose
Kansas, get it
is
together.
catatonic. Rose is catatonic. Like she's like fugues, like just doesn't know what to do, is sitting on the bench.
Doesn't even
the
finish
boys
the letter, I
leave.
think.
No. Herbie wishes the boys good luck. He gives them their train tickets. They all wish Louise good luck. Louise can't believe they're all abandoning her. Tulsa says he'll miss her, but she was just like one of the boys, which...
Devastating. Also, it's so funny because I wonder, like, there's a moment there where I was just like, if any of the boys had been like, Louise, come with us, she would have gone. But none of them thought to ask.
100%.
And because no one asked, she couldn't just go.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Herbie tells Rose that, like, look, the authorities are not going to help us. They can't get June back.
Right.
And he's like, listen, I have a plan already. Like, I'll go back to selling candy bars. It's good business. It's steady for them.
Let me marry you.
Let's take this as a sign. Marry me. Everything will be fine. And Louise desperately wants her mother to say yes.
She just wants to go to school.
Instead, Rose tears up June's letter.
Mm-hmm.
She is devastated. She feels betrayed. And she's like, all right, Louise, you're the next star. And she pours all of her, I just made my chair squeak. She's like, we are pivoting. You are the new star. We are doubling down 110% on making you a star. Where Louise has no skill as a performer and no desire to be a performer. And we get the song, Everything's Coming Up Roses, which if you know Gypsy, you probably know this song.
Yeah. And it's basically, God, it's heartbreaking because it's Rose truly unable to, she's so inflexible and delusional and like stuck in a mindset of like 15 years ago and can't move with the times, and it's hard to watch of her reestablishing her decision to stick with this idea against all
this outdated dream,
against all like her inability to let go of this very old dream, which not only is like no longer possible because like the people are gone, but the establishment that this dream is built upon is gone. So like yeah, it's awful. It's like a really
Herbie
rough ending to Act 1.
This musical is a tragedy.
Yes,
Louise and Herbie watch this, are not enthused, and that's our act break.
Yeah,
everything's Coming Up Roses is the end of Act 1.
Yeah, and I don't know if with other actors it is a little bit more of a call to action and it feels more positive. I don't know how it's played with other people. In this movie, it is heartbreaking and rough and bad. Not bad like performance-wise, but like it makes you feel bad.
There was a song cut from this movie that is in the stage production.
Okay.
Let me pull that up. Okay, the Gypsy, A Musical Fable.
Together Wherever We Go?
I know. Yes. Yeah. Which is that in this movie?
No. They cut that, but it's Act 2, and it's like when they're in the desert. Like, they recorded it, but it was cut. So it wasn't like they decided to... You can actually see where the cut is, and they're like, that was a song.
I feel like that's the song that redeems Everything's Coming Up Roses, because it's like, that's the answer to the question of like, how do Herbie and Rose feel about this call to action? Yeah. That's their response, which is, right. You know what? We're going to stick together through thick and thin. Yes. And we don't have that in this movie, which makes it even more tragic.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and that's the immediate response too, because like in the show, Everything's Coming Up Roses, act break, first song back is Together Wherever We Go. So it's like an immediate like...
No, the first song of Act 2 is like Madame Rose's Tory Adorables, which is like not a real song.
Like the Dainty June songs, I don't count as like the songs of the show.
Okay.
Because like they're performances, they're not like character moments. Anyway, that's just me.
We get the three of them, we start Act 2 with the three of them on the train.
Yes.
And Rose has had a dream about a new act, which is
the same act.
Literally the same, like she has not had an original idea. She's just like putting a new hat on this act. Herbie and Louise like sleep talk respond to her. Mm-hmm. She's already like, the wheels are already turning. She's like, okay, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. We get narration again, and this narration is so desperate to get us to think Rose is a good person. Yes. And that like her choices are redeemable. Yeah. And it's so, it hurts.
Brutal.
Cut to wherever they end up going, whether it's Texas or somewhere out west, but they are like fully sleeping in tents.
Straight up,
they are fully sleeping in tents in like army, in the deserts, in army reserve tents. Like this is not, business is not good. No. But Rose is so delusional that like, this is fine.
We'll be fine. And this time we have a bunch of girls as opposed to boys.
Yeah, boys didn't work before. Boys are unreliable. Girls are the future. And we've reskinned Let Me Entertain You with this ensemble of Madame Rose's Tory Adorables, where everyone's dressed as matadors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And they have Louise in a blonde wig, which I hated.
And we get Louise doing Let Me Entertain You, and she has no stage presence, and she knows
it. She never wanted this.
She never wanted this.
Yeah, this is truly like a stage manager that was forced to do the show, is what it feels like.
Yeah. She can't do the splits. She can't sing. She's got 2 left feet. Honestly, props to Natalie Wood for making Louise so bad.
Because Natalie Wood is actually incredible. Like,
yeah. Herbie arrives, and Herbie sees Rose making Louise wear this blonde wig. And Herbie has this moment where it's just like, this is not gonna work. Yeah. And Louise admits that she wants to quit.
She's like, the act is rotten.
I'm not good at this.
I'm not my sister. I don't want to be my sister. And they eventually decide that they need to rethink the act. And so what they've done is kind of do the flip-flop, but it's not really rethinking, but it's basically letting Louise be Louise. And so it's now Rose Louise and the Hollywood Blondes. And Louise fights for her name to be in the title because she's the lead.
Yeah, and so she doesn't have to wear a wig. They put blonde wigs on all the ensemble girls. And surprise, they get booked. At the Wichita Opera House for 2 weeks.
A real live theater.
And they get there for tech.
Oof.
And it is a third-rate burlesque house.
Yes.
But these girls, these ensemble girls, are so excited because they've never been in a real theater before.
They've been in tents in the desert.
They've been in tents in the desert. And they very quickly... Rose has not arrived yet. I think she's like dealing with the car. And the girls see...
Louise gets here and it's like, no, Mama's gonna hate this.
Oh no, Mama's gonna hate this because this is a literal burlesque house. The girls see more skin than they've ever seen before, and they learn that the only reason their show was booked by the bookers at this venue was to keep the Vice Squad at bay, which essentially means if the acts are too racy, they could get shut down. Yeah. So this is essentially a vanilla act to keep the doors open.
This is the beard to keep the whole thing going.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Rose arrives and...
instantly
is like, we gotta go.
And Rose has this... We've talked about her delusion, but we haven't talked about her pride and her ego.
Yes.
And Rose is like, my show is too good for this. This is offensive that we were even booked here. Yeah. And God bless Louise, ever the realist, turns to her mother and talks her off a cliff where it's like, Mama, we don't have the money to turn this down.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
I love Louise's maturity in this moment, and I'm so upset that she had to be this mature. Yeah. Herbie runs in and is apologizing. He's like, I didn't know. I never would have booked us at this place. And Rose is like, no, I've decided it's fine.
Yeah.
Has come to her, and seemingly has come to her senses that this is the last show. After this, this is the end of the road.
Engagement.
Yeah.
Then she's going to marry Herbie.
Yeah.
And there's a hug, and the stage manager comes in, and this is a moment where I'm like, Herbie's in the wrong here, because the stage manager comes in and is like, I need the rest of your act, I need the music, vamos, and is very dismissive, and Herbie threatens him, and I'm like, my guy, relax and give the man what he needs to do his job.
Yeah. This man is literally trying to keep the doors
Truly.
open. One of the strippers, who's named Tessie, befriends Louise. So all of the ensemble girls are put in one dressing room. Mm-hmm. Louise, as the star, gets a separate dressing room that she does have to share with some of the other burlesque dancers.
Yes.
And one of them, named Tessie, befriends Louise because they're going to be sharing this dressing room.
Yes.
And Louise gets a side job making costumes.
Yeah, so I think that was a part of Louise's job anyway, whenever June was there, was to make all of the costumes for all of the guys. And so it's a little bit tense at first, I think, because also, Louise has grown up with Rose having, hard moral opinions about things. And so now she's suddenly in a space which challenges that. And it's a little bit tense, but the performer Tessie is just like, we're going to be sharing a dressing room. We should be on good terms. Also, these costumes, the stitching on this is incredible. It's so neat. It's so precise. The person that I pay to do it is a mess. Where did you get these? And Louise is like, I do them, and
I made them.
I can do them for you too. $30 per costume, which is a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. So she says, yes, great. And at first, again, Rose is like, and Louise is like, we need the money and it's costumes. This is not a problem.
We need the money. Yeah. Yeah, get over yourself.
Exactly. Then we have another guy coming in and to speak to Tessie, who's in this like...
Yeah, it's the stage manager.
Yes, who's in this like very skimpy butterfly-esque kind of like dainty and pink and all of that. So he comes in to speak to her because apparently a girl is missing, and that normally like reads lines with like a slapstick performer or something, or like does joke setups for the comedian to like do. And Tessie is like, I am a dancer, I do not speak. And Louise offers to step in because they're offering an extra $10 to come and not do anything, but just to feed lines to this comedian, essentially. Mm-hmm. And she agrees to do it.
Yeah. We then get the song.
Oh my god.
We meet two other strippers who come in, and I don't remember how it comes up in conversation, but we get the song "You Gotta Have a Gimmick," which is these three strippers essentially telling telling Louise that like stripping's not hard. Yeah. You just need to have a thing. You need to have a shtick.
Well, it's because Louise says that she will not be stripping. She'll only do the speaking lines because she doesn't have any talent. And they're like, talent, not necessary. Yeah. Gimmick is what you got.
You don't need talent. You need a gimmick. This song hurt my head.
Yeah, because they were screaming.
There's three strippers. We've met Tessie, the butterfly stripper. We meet, I don't even remember her name. It's like Mezzo or something. She's her shtick is that she plays the trumpet
and is dressed like
and
a
then
Roman
the other
gladiator.
girl. Yeah, and then the other stripper is dressed like
a Christmas tree.
She's got like light up. Yeah, she's like a dressed up. Yeah,
her name's Electra.
There are some wild acting choices in this song. Oof. None of the keys are being played on that trumpet. It hurt my head.
Yeah,
I did not enjoy it.
And this is supposed to be like the funny song in the mid of Act 2, you know, the Officer Krumke of it all. And really...
Yeah, it was not enjoyable.
It did not play. And again, I'm curious what it would be like on the stage performance. Like...
That's part of my homework. Okay. Which I'll just say it now and I'll say it again at the end. My homework, don't watch this movie. No. Watch the Tiny Desk concert for this show.
Ooh, okay.
Because they do this song... And they do a fantastic job. Then you get If Mama Was Married. You get Some People. And I don't remember if we get Wherever We Go. They didn't do any of the big two numbers for Audra, but you can also watch the Tony Awards performance for one of them. But that's my homework. Yes. Is watch these clips of the Audra performance. Okay. Rose goes out after the song. Rose goes out to see Herbie in the alley and talks about making new plans. Now that they're at the end of the road, she's gonna marry him. Yes. The show is like this campaign is done. Yes.
They'll get married after the last show.
So cut to the last night of the show. Herbie is so excited for this new chapter in their lives. He goes to visit Rose and Louise. He's brought Rose a bouquet because they're literally gonna get married after the show.
They're on their way to the courthouse. Tonight.
Yeah. And just then, the stage manager is like running around because one of the lead strippers is like she's not there. She's not shown up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Herbie sees Rose hear this and immediately pitch Louise to take this role and like negotiates for it. And like, my daughter can do it. And for Herbie, and like, this is a star role. And Louise is like, I don't want to do it. And Rose is like, this is the star spot.
Yeah, you'll be a star.
Herbie said like, she doesn't want to do it. And Rose like, I'm not quitting until my baby is the star. Once my baby's a star, we can walk away. And Louise relents because she'll do anything to make her mother happy.
God, but it's so devastating because Rose is so emotionless.
It's so devastating. Yeah, and Rose like tells Herbie like, go see what the house is like. And Herbie's like, okay. This is the final straw for Herbie. Yeah. And he walks away and he does not come back.
Well, so he does. So he leaves to go and like tell them.
Sorry.
And Rose gives Louise a bunch of instructions of just like, go on the stage, dip, drop a shoulder strap at the end of your act. You're a lady. You're not a hooker. Like, you're not a stripper.
Don't make them like. You're a lady. Make them beg.
Make them beg for it. You don't need to show anything. Just walk around the stage and dip a little bit. Like, crazy. And Herbie does come back in and is like, I've gotten a car. Please, let's leave. And that's when she insists. And Rose sings like a very quiet reprise of the song Lucky. And Herbie leaves, and we see her kind of look affected for the first time as like another person walking away. And just then, as soon as she finishes singing that reprise, Louise comes out in like a full like cape or robe or something, and
like a fur.
Rose is like, okay, we gotta go, like, and like hustles out. And just for a moment we see Louise take it off, and she is in this stunning cobalt blue gown. She looks incredible, and it's kind of the first time that she's been able to dress close to her age for the first time in her life. And we see something hard shift in her brain, and I don't think it really like locks into place until she goes on stage, but like there's a massive shift when she actually sees herself looking like a woman for the first time in her life.
And she says, Mama, I'm pretty.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty girl, Mama. She can't believe her eyes. Rose asks her if she's nervous. Louise says no, and Louise takes on this role of the stripper name that they came up with earlier, which is Gypsy Rose Lee.
Yes, and they've decided to do a version of the same song, Let Me Entertain You.
Let Me Entertain You. And at first, like, she doesn't immediately step on stage and is an amazing stripper. No. She's nervous, her voice is shaky, her moves are tentative. She strips a glove.
Yeah.
Herbie stands at the back of the audience and watches, and at first the audience kind of laughs at Louise, and they like kind of catcall her, but she does gain confidence, and we see a montage of her performing at more theaters. The venues get bigger and bigger until she is billed as this and the act gets more risque, and she's officially like become a burlesque star of Gypsy Rose Lee,
and one of the most famous burlesque stars of the era.
Cut to the back. These are the song ends. We cut to outside of a theater where she's performing, and there's a sign on that outside of the theater that says, the mother of Miss Gypsy Rose Lee is not allowed backstage at this performance. Yep. And Rose walks up, full big DW energy of this sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Yes.
And walks backstage.
100%.
Yeah.
So she comes in and goes into Louise's very lavish dressing room. Stunning.
She has a maid.
Multi-rooms, like big like mirrors and everything.
Probably has a bathtub.
And Rose is not happy.
No. She tells Louise that like this is a waste of time. Vaudeville's gonna come back. Louise is so happy though.
Yeah.
Louise has realized like she doesn't need her mother's approval for things, and she doesn't want her mother involved, and by wanting Rose not involved, Rose wants to be involved more. Right. When Herbie and Rose were arguing that last time, one of the things Herbie said to Rose was like, what are you going to do when Louise gets married? Yeah. And Rose cannot fathom a world where Louise does not need her, but that is what has happened.
Yeah.
Louise says Rose is desperate to be involved and like tries to like help tidy up, and Louise is like, Mama, I have a maid for that. Like I don't need you
don't need to make my costumes. I already have someone order. Like you're not involved in this.
Yeah, and they're nice quality, and Rose is like, well, they're not as good as I could have made. And Louise says, Mama, look at me now. Look at where I'm going. Like she's enjoying her life. And that it's her life.
Exactly. And like her mom says something about like her failing as well. And she was like, then it will be my choice and it will be all on me. But I will succeed or fail on my own merit because this is my life and the choices that I make. And I mean, Louise tries to like offer her something. She's like, Mama, I can set you up with like a dance studio for like young kids to like teach them. And it's like, that'll give you like something to focus on and like training a new generation, and like is really trying. And Rose is just like absolutely like not interested.
If Rose can't do what Rose wants, Rose isn't going to do it.
Yes.
And Louise tells her, it's like, Mama, you've got to let go of me. And Rose, determined to get the last word, is like, well, what did I do all of this for? Mm-hmm. And Louise says, I thought you did it for me.
Yeah.
Mama.
And a photographer comes in and, like, because she's getting, like, a spread done in, like, Vanity Fair or something, or some magazine profile.
She's getting a big magazine.
And Rose walks out on her and walks out to this quiet theater. No one in the seats, just a ghost light up. And we get the biggest crash out song in musical theater history. So true! Rose's turn.
So, this is a mental breakdown.
Yes, this is a mental breakdown. 100%.
So, we gotta talk about Rose's turn.
Yeah.
It's the 11 o'clock number. And it's... God.
I have a hard time talking about this song. I would love to, like... This role of Rose is something that's always been in the back of my mind as, like, something that I would like to do at some point in my life. Now, obviously, I've stepped away from performing, so that's not going to be. But, like, this particular show and this role was always something that I was interested in, like, digging into because of this song. Because this song, I think, has the opportunity to be that break that would, like what we were talking about, could potentially show character growth, because everything that she has done has happened and she's still not happy. Her daughter is a star.
Yeah.
And she's still not happy. And so having that moment of, like, crash out reflection of just like, oh God, what did I do this all for? I always thought that this song was incredibly interesting from an acting perspective.
Yeah. It's like peak narcissist.
Oh, she's such a narcissist. It's crazy.
Like, she's such a narcissist. Like, thanks a lot and out with the garbage. They're taking bows and you're bending. Your daughter literally just offered to, like, set you up with, like,
a school,
anything that you wanted.
A house.
And it's like literally anything you wanted. But because it's not what you specifically want, it's like a rejection. It's... Yeah.
Someone who's never been able to accept help or change their mind a day in their life.
Yeah. Yeah. The song ends, and surprise, Louise has been there the whole time. Louise claps, which implies that Louise that Louise is aware that was a song, which opens up a whole other can of worms. But she says, you really would have been something, Mama, if you'd had someone to push you, meaning that, like, Rose could have been a performer in her own right if she'd had a Rose to push her. But Rose never had that opportunity, so she puts it all on her daughters, and that's why this musical exists.
Yes.
And Rose admits that she's like, I just wanted to be noticed. I'm a narcissist. I just wanted someone to pay attention to me. So I've pushed my daughters into these roles. And Louise says, well, Mama, I just wanted you to notice me, which is extra heartbreaking because June always got all the attention.
Yes.
And Louise offers this olive branch. Is like, well, Mama, I'm going to a party. Do you want to come with me? And Rose immediately makes it about her again, being like, well, will you let me, like, wear that fur that you're wearing? And Louise is like, sure, like, whatever you want. I just want you to be happy spending time with me. And they laugh and they walk off together, and it is a horrible ending. This woman is delusional.
So true.
I am so angry with the end of this, and I just... she was not redeemed. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where, like, there's a lot of different there's a lot of room for interpretation for how this show ends, this movie can end, with Louise and Rose's relationship, of whether Louise forgives her mother or not. Yeah. Kind of like how there's a lot of room for interpretation for the end of My Fair Lady.
Yes.
Like that last line. So similarities there. In this one, Louise fully forgives her. Desperate to have a relationship with her mother. Hated it.
Yeah.
In, I think, the most recent revival, they left it much more up to interpretation, and it was a lot more open.
So, I'm going to go out on a limb and say neither of us liked this movie.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's the movie's fault or the plot's fault. You know what I mean?
I think I'm going to go out on a limb, having never seen a stage production of this, and I'm going to go out and say that is the movie's fault for how they chose to depict Rose.
Yeah.
I think it is a more successful show if we're not trying to redeem her the entire time.
Yeah, if we let her actually be the villain.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, well, and I think I told you right after I watched this that this movie is like a case study for why some children go no contact. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is a prime example.
This is a good example. This is a textbook example. So I deeply regret not getting to see the Audra McDonald Gypsy, yes. But I simply could not afford it in that last year in New York.
So fair.
We'll do a little dramaturgy report. Okay, this was directed and produced by Mervyn LeRoy, whom we've seen before. Actually, we did Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah, that was our 10th, no, that was our season 1 ender.
Yes, okay, so Mervyn LeRoy is most famous for producing the 1939 Wizard of Oz. However, we've seen him already because he did $1 Million Mermaid.
Woof.
So in the 30s, he was a director at Warner Brothers Studios, and he was one of two, greats of the time known for being economical and effective film directing, the other being Michael Curtis. His most acclaimed films of his time at Warner's included Little Caesar from 31, I Am a Fugitive from the Chain Gang in 32, Gold Diggers of 1933, and They Won't Forget in 1937, plus $1 Million Mermaid, and as I said before, Wizard of Oz. I don't know. I'm not enough of a cinephile to know that Gold Diggers of 1933 is a classic and why, but it was mentioned, so it felt important to include.
Sure.
We've also seen this cinematographer before. It was Henry A. Stradling. He did more than 130 films. We know his work from Buckle Up, My Fair Lady, Funny Girl, Streetcar Named Desire, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, Hello Dolly, Guys and Dolls, and our favorite, The Pirate.
Hell yeah!
And then this was edited by William W. Anderson, who was an American film editor with more than 50 film credits. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Editing 3 times, for 1956, Giant, 1957, Sayonara, and 1961, The Parent Trap, which I'd learned then was not an original movie from the 90s.
Oh, you didn't know?
I did not know that.
Funny, yeah.
No!
I don't think I've ever seen the original.
Yes, that is my director. No, neither have I. I didn't know it existed. Just like how I didn't know the Glenn Close South Pacific existed, but now I do.
Shocking.
And that's our director, cinematographer, and editor.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the stage musical and how this got translated to screen. So, this musical was music by Jules Stein and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim and book by Arthur Lawrence. So it's based on the memoirs of Gypsy Rose Lee. And they had already, this was like a star vessel. This had Ethel Merman attached to it from the beginning. Originally, David Merrick, the producer, had read a chapter of the memoirs and then approached her to obtain the rights. Jerome Robbins was apparently interested as well and wanted Leland Hayward as a co-producer. Now, they approached Arthur Lawrence to write the book, and originally he wasn't interested until he saw that it was a story about sort of parents being overbearing in their children's lives and trying to live their children's lives for them. So then he got really interested in the family dynamics of the story. The composers Irving Berlin and Cole Porter both declined, and finally they approached Stephen Sondheim, but as I said in my deep dive into Sondheim during Into the Woods, Ethel Merman didn't want an unknown composer and wanted Jules Stein to write the music, and so Sondheim agreed to only do lyrics. The original Broadway production opened on May 21st, 1959, and ran for 702 performances. It was nominated for the Tony Awards for Best Musical, but it lost to Sound of Music and Fiorello.
Fiorello, wow.
The writer for the screenplay was Leonard Spiegelgas. He was an American playwright, film producer, and screenwriter. He ended up writing 11 Academy Award-winning movies throughout his career. Now, originally, Rosalind Russell and her husband Friedrich Bresson were hoping to do like a straight dramatic version of this story based directly on the memoir for this film, but the book was tied to the rights to the play, and so they had to the rights were all sort of jumbled at this point between the musical and the book, and so to bring it to screen it had to be the musical, apparently.
Yeah.
So for Rosalind Russell, who was our Rose, she, even though she had starred in the 1953 stage musical Wonderful Town and the 55 film The Girl Rush, the Gypsy score was a bit too much for her. She was not a singer, very much Rex Harrison's school of singing. So they ended up choosing contralto Lisa Kirk, which is why the songs were so low. It's because the voice, like the woman that they got to sing the songs, is a contralto. And her singing voice, they found, was able to blend really well with Rosalind Russell's own like speaking voice. Her ability to mimic the voice was showcased specifically in Rose's turn, and the full final vocal version was released on the original soundtrack, but it is not the version used in this film. Years later, they found the original, like Russell's original vocals were found on, like, scratchy discs, and, like, whenever they re-released the CD, they added in those, like, background singing, like, basically Rosalind singing it so that Lisa Kirk could figure out what her tonality was going to be and like match over top of it.
That's really smart.
Yeah. Now, obviously we know that Marnie Nixon, shout out to Marnie, we stand Marnie on this pod, had dubbed Natalie Wood, who played Louise, in West Side Story the previous year. But in Gypsy, Natalie Wood did her own singing, which were, like, Little Lamb was performed live on set. But other songs that included Rose were not performed live on set because she had someone else singing for her. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Natalie Wood, and I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that this does not turn into a true crime podcast. So, spoiler alert, Natalie Wood's death was extremely mysterious and has not been solved, quote-unquote, solved to this day. I'm gonna brush over it, but I highly recommend if you're interested. There's a couple of podcasts that do like a deep dive into like what happened to her. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, I recommend looking up those. So, Natalie Wood, her first appearance on screen when she was like 4 years old. It was in the 1943 release of The Moon is Down, which is based on a John Steinbeck book. After that, she was cast again in a really fast scene in the film Happy Land. And even though it was just like small, tiny bit parts, she became like a favorite for the director of both of those films. And he remained in contact with her family for 2 years and would like advise them when roles would come up that he thought she would be good for, and giving advice and things like that. They ended that director, whose name is Irving Pitchell, ended up telephoning Natalie Wood's mother and asking her to bring her daughter to Los Angeles for a screen test. And so her mom became so excited, they packed the whole family off and moved all the way, and like moved to Los Angeles. Now, her dad was not into this, but life imitates art. His wife's, quote, overpowering ambition to make Natalie a star took priority.
Sounds familiar.
At that point, Natalie Wood was about 7 years old. She got this big part that they moved to LA for. She played a post-World War II German orphan opposite Orson Welles in Tomorrow is Forever in 1946. There is a story, who knows if it's real, when Natalie Wood was unable to cry on cue, her mother tore a butterfly to pieces in front of her to make her sob. Jesus Christ. But Orson Welles later said that Natalie Wood was a born professional, so good it's terrifying. He also said Natalie doesn't act from the script, she acts from the heart. Her best-known film as a child was Miracle on 34th Street. At this point, that film, Christmas classic, and she was at that point counted among the top child stars in Hollywood after this film came out, and it was so popular that Macy's invited her to appear in their float for the Thanksgiving Day parade. Yeah. All in all, while she was a minor, she appeared in 20 films as a child. Now, she made the transition from child star to ingenue at around age 16 when she co-starred with James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. Now, she ended up having to sign a long-term contract with Warner Bros., and she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for this role. She later said that it was the first script she read and that she actually wanted to do as opposed to being told to do by her parents, and that her parents were very opposed to her doing it, which is really interesting considering like the themes of teenage rebellion that this movie is all about. After Rebel Without a Cause, she had like a bunch of bad films, so a lot of people were wondering if she was like not gonna actually make that leap into an adult actor after a child actor, but she was cast in Kazan's Splendor in the Grass with Warren Beatty, and he talked about this interview that he had with her like after he had cast her, and how she had this like desperate twinkle in her eye, and the more that he talked with her, the more he felt like he understood what human material was there and what her inner life was. So whenever he cast her, and this movie fully rebounded her career. So for her performance in this movie, she got nominations for the Academy Award, a Golden Globe, BAFTA, and a bunch of other items. After this, her next big thing was Maria in West Side Story, which was a huge box office success, and it's still regarded as one of Natalie Wood's best films. Right after West Side Story was Gypsy, and then at the age of 25, so she's still incredibly young, Natalie Wood received her third Academy Award nomination for Love with the Proper Stranger, making her, along with Teresa Wright, the youngest person to score 3 Oscar nominations. Now, this record was later broken by Jennifer Lawrence and Saoirse Ronan. Following the next movie that she made, her next popular movie that she made, which was Penelope, it didn't get a good reaction, so she ended up taking a 3-year hiatus from acting. And she was really struggling at this point. She went into therapy, she paid Warner Bros. To, like, cancel her contract, and she, like, really began to focus hard on, like, her mental health and her relationship with her partner at that time, Richard Gregson, who they got married in 1969. After a 3-year break, she co-starred in a couple of movies, but she became quickly pregnant again in 1970, and so she went into semi-retirement and only acted in a couple of more films after this. Now, on November 29th, 1981, she died under mysterious circumstances at the age of 43, during the making of what would be like another comeback movie called Brainstorm. So she was on a weekend boat trip to Santa Catalina Island, on board a boat owned by her husband at the time, Robert Wagner, and later she was found dead in the water, and the circumstances are unknown. It had never been determined how she entered the water. There were questions about who was on the boat. Surprise, surprise, Christopher Walken was one of them. So they recovered her body, and there was a lot of conversation with with her partner Robert Wagner, and like the report that she had like bruises on her body and arms and like a cut on her cheek, but it didn't quite make sense with like a drowning. Again, I have like paragraphs of this because I was just interested about it. I'm not going to go in too deep. Needless to say, no one's ever been charged with anything. Her cause of death was marked as drowning and other undetermined factors. You love the vagueness. Yes.
I don't love the vagueness.
Yeah, exactly. But this is like still open, like as recently as I think like 2012 there was a big uptick. I think in 2018 there was another thing, or 2020 or something like that, when that's where like I first heard about this, was back then. But yeah, so this is still open. So she had a very mysterious death. Highly recommend looking up more. I'm not going to go too hard into the details because this is about musicals and not about murder. But that is Natalie Wood. So a life cut short, an incredibly prolific actress, and a very well recognized one who was able to make the transition from a child star through to adulthood, which not everyone can do.
In terms of reviews and reception, this film got mixed critical reviews. Some people were saying, this is the next West Side Story. Others said it was meandering and one note, and I'm of that thought. So it was a financial success. It had a budget of $4 million, and it grossed over $11 million at the box office. It was the highest grossing film of it was the 8th highest grossing film of 1962. And you know I love to know what it was up against. So in order from like 7th to 1st, we went Hatari, To Kill a Mockingbird, Mutiny on the Bounty, something called That Touch of Mink, Ooh. The Music Man, Lawrence of Arabia, and then something, The Longest Day, which I actually don't know, but it only beat Lawrence of Arabia by $250,000. All right, and then in terms of awards, it was nominated for a lot of awards, including Best Cinematography, Color, Best Costume Design, Color, Best Scoring, that was at the Academy Awards. Rosalind Russell won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, and both she and Natalie Wood were nominated, as well as Mervyn LeRoy was nominated for Director, and Carl Malden, who played Herbie, was nominated for Best Actor as well. This film is also recognized by the American Film Institute in the lists AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs. Everything's Coming Up Roses was nominated. It's not on the list. Right. And then it was also nominated for AFI's Greatest Movie Musicals. Did not make the list. Singing and dancing. We did have dancing. I was going to say we didn't have any dancing.
We had
it was all
Tulsa
like
dancing.
Dancing within the context. We had Tulsa dancing. We had dancing in the context of a performance.
Yeah, and it was all...
We didn't have dancing in the streets.
Yeah. I thought Tulsa was a great dancer for, like, the one number that he had.
Yeah, he was great.
Everything else felt very, like they say, gimmicky.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was fine. The singing also was fine. This does feel like a musical that, like, is so much about plot that I feel like if you took away the songs, it would be the same show.
You still have a show. Yeah.
You know? But still, it's still a musical.
And
it's so funny, because often when I say, like, when I have those, like, moments where I'm like, oh, if you took away the numbers, it'd be the same. It's because it's a movie with music, and it's, like, it's a performance on the stage, and you could just, like, hint at what's going on stage, and it's fine. But this is, like, one of the few, like, straight-out True Blue musicals that I'm like, I think you could cut most of these.
You could. And there is... I'm realizing we do have a moment of, like, realizing there is music within the movie when Louise claps for her mother after Rose's turn. Yeah. I agree. The singing didn't wow me enough for me to really, like, fight for many of the songs. Yeah. Like, they could have been monologues.
Yes, 100%. Gripes, giggles, moments of joy?
I have one giggle.
Okay.
I do not have a moment of joy, and my entire gripe is I did not like this movie. No. My gripe is the narration. My gripe is the adding of the narration. I think it really did this movie a disservice. Yeah. My giggle is Tessie going, "Who are you, her mother?" Like that bit. And then my moment of joy, I did not have one. I literally wrote, I do not have one.
My gripe was that there was no character development or consequences, and truly either would have been fine for Rose, which makes that final big crash out number kind of pointless, because you didn't change at the end of that.
No.
I didn't really have any giggles. I think, like, moment of joy is the wrong word, but I really appreciated the moment with June, her being like, "Thank you for looking out for me." It was like a moment what felt like an actual, like, sister moment of just, like, you know, just like a little sister who, like, acknowledges that her big sister's looking out for her. Oh, my other gripe was her, like, a smaller gripe that's, like, not a big thing, but her making Louise wear a blonde wig just felt like a stab in the face.
Hated it. Hated that.
Yeah. Anyway. I didn't really have any giggles. This was not a funny movie, even with, like, there are jokes in here, but none of them stuck out to me enough to, like, overcome how sad this movie made me feel.
And it was truly at the, there was never every joke was at the expense of someone's happiness.
Yeah.
I just,
even that
this movie did not leave me feeling good.
Of, like, her being like, Mama, I'm pretty. I'm like, this is heartbreaking. This is not a happy moment. This is horrible. Yeah. Fun facts!
I have one fun fact, which is that in the original play, June elopes with Tulsa.
Yeah.
In the film, she elopes with, like,
Jerry.
a random dancer named Jerry.
Yeah.
And so this did give Tulsa, like, a goodbye scene with Louise. Otherwise, it makes no difference in the plot.
Yes. So, the original June apparently took issue with the way that she was portrayed in the film, and particularly the fact that it makes it appear that Tulsa was interested in Louise before eloping with June. She said that Louise seldom, if ever, socialized with the boys in the act. So, just to, like, piggyback off of what yours was.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on your homework of the Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah, watch the Tiny Desk concert. It's fantastic. It actually makes me want to watch the show. And particularly the You Gotta Get a Gimmick number.
Yeah.
I was like, after watching this movie, I was like, I don't want to see that number. And then I saw it in Tiny Desk. And I was like, oh, that's how you do it properly.
Like, oh, okay. This is actually could be quite a silly, funny number.
Okay. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, if you're still here,
well, if you're still here,
downer, we're ending with murder and sadness.
Wait, murder?
With Natalie Wood.
Oh, with Natalie Wood. I was like, who got murdered in Gypsy? Just hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Oh, well, if you're still with us, I think that's all she wrote.
Dear God, yes it is.
Dear God, that needs to be all she wrote for Gypsy.
Yeah.
This is 5678, a movie musical podcast. Signing off. I really don't have anything else to add other than, like, hopefully the next movie is better. All right. We will see you on the next one. I have been Anna.
I'm still Grace.
Take care of yourselves and others. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.